Hey, hey, how you doing? Welcome to today's Enlightenment broadcast. Thank you so much for joining me. My name is Jay Moore, and I am your healthy accountant, helping you to account for your life. And so today, our Enlightenment broadcast, the title is A Story That Sells. A Story That Sells. This is a little bit different than titles that I normally would have, but I think some things was in my mind. So you know what? Let's just go with this: A Story That Sells. And I was in a training recently, and so the training was all about teaching you the process of um, how video sells. And so basically, the class was videos that sell, how to create a video that sells. And so, some of the things that, was revealed in this workshop is that, the videos that sell tend to speak directly to, it's going to speak directly to a person, a specific person that video was created for. A lot of times, when, even in my business, say, hey, I want to help realtors save money on taxes. But what happens is there's a lot of realtors. There's like, ones that make a lot of money. There's ones that don't make that much money. There's, some that do, specific type of real estate. There's some that don't really, they may have the real estate license, but they may not necessarily, do a lot of, representing of buyers and sellers. They may have their license so that they can buy their own property, which they're more like investors, but they still may call themselves a real estate agent or realtor. There's like so many areas inside of that. And so, the person that was running this workshop, he was saying, you got like, it has to really be specific. Story that sells. It's got to speak directly to the person. And so I flipped open to the Bible and I was reading some stuff. And, I just want you to imagine I just want you to imagine something. A guy who hit, one of your friends, who had been blind all their life. I'm talking about they never saw anything. All they ever was blind. And this person miraculously, was healed. Someone came to them and said, hey, Jay, you know what? I can heal you. Or, do you want to be healed? Yes, I want to be healed. Absolutely. You are healed. And then you run to the local church and you're saying, hey, man, I was healed. I'm excited. And they're looking at you like, how in the world were you healed? Who did this? There's no way. There's no way you were healed by God. Like they're questioning you and they're telling you how this is wrong. And then you say to yourself, well, man, that's a story. Like if someone ran into church, if my friend ran into church and said, man, I was healed. He's out there. I want to take you to him. Man, I'm like, let's go. Let's go. But the contrary happened. Can you imagine being that person that did not want to believe that day, that said that there's no way that just an average, what this is what they were calling Jesus, an average person can do something like this. This is normally set out for prophets and and people that quote unquote might be without sin. But what they didn't realize is that the person without sin, yeah, I mean, God is without sin. Yeah, individuals are not necessarily, I'm sorry, individuals are covered by the blood and covered by the grace of God. But here's the thing, they just wouldn't believe it. I mean, I said to myself, man, if I were there, would I have believed? Man, I would have believed that story. Like even today, if someone came to me with something miraculous, I'm excited because I'm saying to myself, man, I think that can happen for me. I see it every day when people break through and they have success and they come back and they share their story, their testimony, and you get excited. You get excited like, man, yes, I know I can do it. I know that this is for me. I know it. And especially when you can relate to someone else's story. It's like, I was sharing a story, sharing a story with someone recently. And when they related to my story, they were like, man, thank you for that. I really need it. That's helping me today. See, stories that sell, guys, are stories that can be related to the person that the story is being told to. See, every story may not necessarily sell everybody. That's why it's important. Here's what's important, guys. Here's what's important. Before I read my text, here's what's important for your story. Your story is laid out specifically for somebody. And usually it's more than one person. I said somebody, but it's laid out for a group of people. That group of people have been marked. I'm serious. That group of people have been marked, and your story can help them. But do you know how many stories have gone down into the grave? I mean, really, do you know how many stories that have not been told, or the person that had the story decided that they didn't think the story was good enough, and so they never shared it with anybody? Man, see, that's deep. See, that's deep because we all have a place in each other's life. Look, if you are here and you found me, or you're listening to this video, you have a place in my life. We are connected by stories. See, stories that sell, they're not just some story that's mystical or was made up. Stories that sell is it's about real life. Man, I lost my brother. I lost my brother, man. And when I lost my brother, it changed my life. Yes, it changed my life. And, it was like my life was born again by losing my brother to a tragic accident. Can you relate? Have you lost a loved one? Have you lost somebody special to you, and you didn't feel like you could get to the next day? You didn't feel like if life was worth living. Has that ever happened to you? Do you know somebody? Do you know somebody that may have lost a loved one to senseless violence, a shooting, like I did? My brother was killed senselessly. He was like he was so not supposed to be out that he didn't even have his cell phone and his wallet. He walked out of the house. He walked out of the house. So we don't really know. He could just been going for a walk, going for a run, because he did that a lot. He walks out of the house. He's gone around the corner, and he meets up with some people, and he loses his life. Didn't even have his cell. Come on, he didn't leave out. He left the house without his cell phone and his wallet, because he probably knew he was just going out for a second. Do you know someone that's lost a loved one because of senseless violence? See, the thing is, when something tragic happens and it's connected to you, that's a story. Oh yes, it's a story. I can imagine all of the people, like the Trayvon Martins, who lost his life for no reason, senseless. See, part of that story was lost. I'm gonna tell you why. Because here's the thing. Something bad happened. But do you know if that situation would have been treated, would it if it would have been treated as if we forgive you? It's not a yes, we lost our son. We are like total forgiveness. If we as a people would have been totally forgiving in the like it's a bad situation, but it's no different than my brother getting killed senselessly. He was killed senselessly because he had a hoodie on. My brother was killed senselessly, and we don't even know why. It wasn't even on the news. So you got two people killed by gun violence senselessly. One in the public, one not. One is a black and white thing. So that was a big thing. Oh, it's black and white. Oh, it's racial. Hey, how about black on black crime? Because I can guarantee it was some black people that killed my brother. It just didn't make it to the news. Senseless, I forgive. Yeah, I wish he didn't die. But you know what? I'm glad that I'm where I'm at. See, a story that sells, guys, which is your story. Your story is so important because your story is going to change someone else's life. Your story. I'm going to share with you just this text in John chapter 9. John chapter 9, let's see, the whole chapter is talking about how Jesus healed a blind man. So you want to go back and read the whole chapter of John 9, but I'm going to catch it up at the very end. And at the very end, in verse number 35, it says, now when the news about this reached Jesus, which the guy had gone and spoke to the Pharisees, and so Jesus was getting the news that he had spoken to the Pharisees. He went looking for the man, and when he found him, he said, would you like to meet the Son of God, to be his disciple? The man said, yes, of course. Where is he? Because he hadn't seen him yet. I want to see him and meet him. Jesus said, you're looking at him and talking with him. The man said, Lord, you sound like the one who healed me. Yes, I believe you are the Son of God. Then he fell on his knees and worshiped him. Jesus said to those nearby, my presence in this world makes people decide either for me or against me. Those who are blind see, and those who see become blind. So I want you to think about your story. So your story is just like this blind man who was healed. Your story, when it's told, it's a healing for someone else. Your story, when you share it, it's a teaching so someone else can learn a principle. See, your story, when you embrace it, puts you at the right hand of the Son of God. See, because the Son of God wants to take your story and he wants people to know not just that you are healed, not just that you have this amazing breakthrough, but what he wants you to do is to share. Well, if you got this breakthrough, then how did you get it? Look, I can tell you, I was saved by him. He saved me. He taught me something that I had no idea. And I'm going to tell you, when the journey first started, I didn't know where I was going. He said he'd lead me. And then when we got to that point where I lost my brother, it was like, what? What now? He's like, I got you. Don't worry about this don't worry about that is what he told me. Don't worry. It's like as plain as day. Don't worry about it. I got that. And next thing you know, a life was born. So guys, the story that sells is going to help somebody else. Your story is going to help someone else. Teach someone else that principle that you learned because you changed. Get out there and share your story. Don't think your story is small. Your story is big, and it was created so that you could share it with other people. So guys, I want to thank you so much for joining me today here on this enlightenment broadcast, A Story That Sells. If you haven't already liked and subscribed to the page, please like the page or subscribe on the channel wherever you are watching the broadcast. Guys, if you are the type of person that you are looking for a solution in your life, it could be business, it could be finances, it could be relationship, it could be your spiritual life, your health. I want to welcome you to book a call with me, book a free strategy call with me. Let's discuss where you are. Figure out not if, but what solutions you might need. There's something that's blocking you. And I think we can kind of find that out on the call. So definitely book a call with me. I'd love to speak to you about your story and how your story could change not just your life, but many others. So thank you so much for joining me today. I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow.